Why strong candidates still don't get the job offer. Let me put it in terms that I think most people will understand. Interviewing is a lot like dating. On paper, on their profile, when you're skimming through all of these lovely people online, they look great. Their packaging is great. They look good. They have a great job. They might have a dog. They like to travel. All great. So you agree to meet them for this first date, similar to an interview. Then the date happens. Technically, nothing went wrong. They were nice. They were polite. They smiled. But there was just no spark. No moment where you thought, I want to see this person again. Sorry, but you came across forgettable. Interviews work the exact same way. You can answer every question correctly and still not get an offer. And here's what most candidates don't realize. Hiring managers are not interviewing you to grade you, they're interviewing you to remember you. I've watched hiring teams debrief hundreds of interviews. By the time the interviews are over, they're choosing between several very qualified candidates. The difference is not competence, people, it's recall. And recall comes from, you guessed it, having that connection with the person interviewing you. So, if interviewing is like dating, the obvious question becomes how do you actually wow them without trying too hard or becoming someone you're not? This is where most advice goes off the rails. People think they need to be more charismatic, more polished, more impressive, and maybe even more interested, but that comes off desperate and anxious. So, what you need is structure, a framework, how to create recall without performing. Anchor your answer to a moment, not a role. Most candidates will start something like this. In my last role, I was responsible for blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's where attention drops fast. What does work is starting with a moment such as, well, let me tell you about a time that, or there was this moment that activates the memories. Job titles do not. If you start with a role description, you already sound like everybody else. Tell a sharp, succinct, relatable story that maybe they might have gone through themselves. That's where they get the connection and that's where they can relate to you and you become one of the team already. So most interview answers focus on tasks, responsibilities, how hard they worked. What interviewers actually listen for is judgment. What judgment did you use in forming that? So they want to hear things that sound like, what options did you have? What you chose, why you chose it. And when candidates say, I had two options, the easier one would have fixed the problem short term. I chose the harder option because it fixed it permanently. Even though it meant me missing my son's baseball game, I knew that if I did it right, it would be the only baseball game I would miss that season. Do you understand that you bring the human element into it? You become relatable. Interviewers lean in then because they're hearing judgment, not duties. Duties don't create recall. Decisions do, stories do. So a lot of candidates stop at metrics. Metrics matters, but they don't connect you to that person. What sticks is the human impact, relief, trust, momentum, a shift in decision. For example, what changed wasn't just performance, the tension in the room disappeared. That's when connection happens. Think about a great date. You don't remember every detail of the conversation, you remember how they made you feel. And interviews work the exact same way. Truly, storytelling isn't about impressing someone, it's about making it easy for them to picture you in that role already. So let me be clear, wowing an interviewer does not mean talking more, being flashy, overselling yourself, trying to impress. In fact, trying too hard usually backfires in dating and in interviews. The strongest candidates sound grounded, specific, and self-aware, not rehearsed. So, if you're getting interviews but no offers, it's rarely because you're unqualified, because you made it to the interview. So, you are qualified. It's because you're answering questions instead of creating the recall, the connection. And recall is what gets you the second date, the second interview, and the offer. If this resonated, it's probably because you have lived it. So, subscribe to my channel. I answer a lot of questions on Ask the Coach as well, and I'll continue to bring these great ideas to help you to ace those interviews and get those offers. Okay, it's really important. We don't have a lot of interviews to blow, so we have to go into the interview prepared every single time. Thank you and good luck out there. Hope this helped.